Hello. Oh, here I go again. Well, I will probably still for a while have to spend the first few seconds of every stream getting this set up. That looks good. All right, well, here we go. I've opened up a table. I'm looking for opponents in real time, and until we get one, this is going to be my pattern for a while until I find a way that fits my schedule better. I will talk about the turn-based games that I'm in. So here's one of my games with Tota. I'm in a few games with Tota. Tota is getting pretty good. But this game, I think, is going all right for me. So we're kind of squabbling over the red supply right now. He's beating me on yellow, which always makes me nervous. I've got a Gemini system here. I'm connected to both small and large stars. I don't usually do this. I've been experimenting. I think it's no, it's another player is beating me in a game where he picked um, medium yellow blue stars, and so I wanted to give it a try. Okay, so I think I want to invade one of these two systems, Foster Bleb, or maybe build another yellow. Make sure I don't get left too far behind in the yellows. I think I'll stick with that. Then on my next turn, maybe I'll bring somebody over to, I think my large yellow, I'll bring over to here. Threaten to take his little guy. Okay, that's my decision there. All right. Oh, and this is not Homeworlds. This is Bandito. I kind of like Bandito. This is a lightweight cooperative game. When I've been making too many when I've been making too many moves in Homeworlds games, it's nice to see Bandito pop up and say, "Here, relax for a moment." And I say, "Ah, yes." Okay, here's Tota again. Let's see what happened most recently. I built a G1 because I wanted a factory, and he moved an R2 to Dioge. Okay. That means he wants to build more red, probably. I'm feeling good about the yellows here. Got a head start in yellow. You know something? Red. He doesn't have medium yellow, so it would actually be safe for me to build red at home if I had the inclination, but I think I'd rather race him on the yellows. I'm gonna sacrifice my big green, do a factory build. I'll take yellow like that. He's likely to build a yellow at home. He's got a factory as well, so he could build a medium yellow and maybe a red in Dioge. Then it's not safe for either of us to build yellow. But if I spread out my yellows, then I can take one of these guys. Or, I might just, next turn, I might just trade one of these for a red. Then I'd be more set up to build red than he is. Okay, this feels pretty good. This feels pretty good. No opponent yet, right? No. Okay. You know something? Just a minute here. I'm going to... I know there's a way to get a link for my stream. I'm going to post it in Discord just in case anybody's interested in watching live here. Okay, well, YouTube Studio is loading slow. I'll come back to that. Here's another game with Tota. We've been playing Follow the Leader here. Been pretty samey. He discovered a G1, so he wants to keep building yellow, maybe. I could build the green. I think I might like that best. Nobody's taken an interest in blues here yet. Interesting. If I do that, is he... He was moving yellow. Does he somehow have a way to swoop the rest of the yellows? No. Swoop the rest of the reds? No. He's just kind of just opening up the greens. I don't think that does anything too scary. Okay. Um, all right. Well, I'll stick with this. Luckily, I'm in a lot of games, so we've got time to talk about this. Okay, let's see. Here is link to the stream. I'll post it in Discord in case anybody is interested in joining me live. Nope, nope, that's the wrong link. Oops. I swear someday I will figure this out. All right, all right. Post it in Discord. Who knows? Maybe we'll have company. All right, this game is with a new player, and I've got him shut out of blue really hard. So this game will probably be pretty easy. Just double checking, no real-time opponent yet. Thinking about turning the sound on so I'd get an alert. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna turn the sound on, then I'm gonna mute the sound for you, so that I will hear an alert if I get a real-time opponent, but you won't be bothered with the swishing sounds. If anybody would like to say that they like the swishing sounds, go ahead, but I suspect they're more annoying than they're worth. Okay, yeah, so this game's feeling really good. Aha, relaxing bandito again. Right, oh, this is interesting. Here we've been squabbling over the yellows. I think I've come out somewhat ahead so far. He built a Y2. Yeah, I'm a little nervous he's gonna decide to send his two smalls at me for a catastrophe. Swap for a red. He's not in a, he's not in a good position to get another red. So to get, I mean, so he could trade one of his home ships for a red right now, but he'd be giving up either his only yellow or his only blue ship in his home. So he probably doesn't like that idea. He'll have to decide whether to trade one of those for red or put off having red and risk me invading one of his colonies. Capturing things. Although, I mean, with a large ship, there's nothing he'd be able to do about that anyway. For build. Okay, well, that looks pretty good. Haven't we just been here? I think we were just here. I think Toto must be online. Yeah, Toto's online. Toto's making moves along with us. But I don't think he's watching, so he's not hearing what I think about this game. I don't think anybody's watching. Just double check. No, nobody's watching. Okay, so nobody's getting hints about the game that they're actually in. Let's see. He moved yellow to Alti. I built yellow. He moved yellow. Yeah. I want to do this. Give him something to worry about. Would he build all the remaining yellows? He could, and I think he should, if I do that. He'd end up with a yellow in his home. Would have 2 yellow ships, so I could catastrophe if I could get them there. But they would just be this yellow and this yellow. Nope, it's no good. Don't like it. Alright, what if I instead move this guy here? Then if he builds... if he builds 3 yellow, he could wipe out the yellow bank again. He could still take the whole yellow bank. And this time if he does it, if he puts the medium here, well, so he could take out my large almost for free, building medium and large yellows here, and then building a large at home, so he'd still have a large at home, sacrificed his G3, but he'd still have then he'd have a yellow 3, and he'd have killed my large for very cheap. So I don't like that either. What to do, what to do? I could discover a large yellow system. Keep that yellow out of the bank. I could trade my little yellow for green, for example. That's not especially attractive either. Gosh, I hate falling behind in yellow. This way, if he sacrifices his G3, the best he can do is build a medium yellow, which he could do anyway. Replace his G3 with a Y3. Yeah. I'm behind in everything but blue. And he's hogging blues as stars. It's really annoying. I need to start invading these colonies as soon as things quiet down a little. Okay, well, tell you what, let's go with that. No opponent, no opponent. I think people are mostly playing turn-based. This game is pretty stressful to play in real time. I think so. All right, let's see what happened. I built a green 2, he built a green 2. All right. Oh, this is Toda again. Ah, he's everywhere. Oh, and this is the same game we were looking at before. Okay, let's see. I have an inclination to sacrifice this green 3, build the remaining 2 reds. And particularly Build red and red. Okay, so I spent a G3 to get, sorry, I spent a G2 to get an R2 and an R3. So I'm up a red 3 over where I was a moment ago. He could catastrophe these reds either with his red 3, in effect trading over the course of these 2 turns. So I'm up a red 3 so far, and this would take me back down a red 3, so breaking even out of these 2 turns. He trades his red 3 for red 2, red 1. I feel pretty good about that. Or he could sacrifice his yellow 2 to move his red 1 all the way to bleb. In effect, I would be trading, if we say the green 2 is just as valuable as the red 2 that I gained, I'd be taking out his yellow 2 and his red 1 for red 1, red 2. Not too bad. Okay, if I don't do that, if I put it off, can he do a similar thing? He could take the rest, yes. And in fact, he can do it better than me, because he can put medium where he's already got 2, and put his large where he's got 1 large, and it would be more expensive for me to catastrophe. Well, no, I could sacrifice my medium yellow to move in small red, medium red, and he would be down to just his original large. That doesn't feel too bad. Maybe I should just spread out my reds in anticipation of... No. If I spread out my reds, unless I send one to a medium system, which isn't really... After here. He's got a better factory than me. He can build a 3rd green. A green here. That way it would be within striking distance of his home if he decided to do an early factory building the last green in his home and then another build. But there's nothing else he'd really want to build right now because it would just opens things up for me. Hum. Oh, looks like I've got a viewer. Hello, viewer. If you've got anything to say, go ahead. I actually do have one eye on the chat this time. He's not going to want to do a shopping spree in yellow because he can't rebuild his large back at home. Viewer says hi. Hello. As long as I'm... Okay, so I'm not very experienced with this whole system. Can I see the viewer's name? No, I cannot. I can just see the little avatar picture. Okay. Well, good to know. I'd kind of like to move my little red to a system that's connected to his home so that if he shopping sprees the reds, I can do a cheap catastrophe. But I can't without... I guess I could move it to a blue. That wouldn't be too bad. I think I just want to start getting blue. I'm going to trade for blue. You can shopping spree the reds, but I'll do a catastrophe. Oh, you know what? What I was saying before doesn't make sense. I was saying earlier that he could build medium, sacrifice the green 3, build medium at home, red here in Alti. Sorry, medium red at his home, large red in Alti. That's actually still not too bad because the only large that I could get to his home to take advantage of him not having a large at home would be also red, and it would just be catastrophed. I would want to do that with the small instead. Okay, well, he might do that. Could be worse. He shopping sprees the yellows. Do I send my red to his home? No, I better not. Ah, jeez. No, can't do that. Okay, no. He's gonna take all my yellows. He's gonna take all the yellows. um. Okay. What if we do this? We both come up a large. Not so bad. I'll take it. All right, here we go. To reiterate for the viewer here, I am doing some position analysis of my turn-based games while I'm waiting for a real opponent to show up. And by real opponent, I mean a real-time opponent. I've got a table open. All right, let's see what happened here. Some more Toda. Somewhere, I know I'm in games with people other than Toda, but just most of them seem to be Toda. What happened last time? I sacrificed G3. I did a factory to get yellow 2, yellow 1. He did a factory to get yellow 2, red 1. Okay. That is not too surprising. I think that's what I expected, more or less. I could sacrifice my medium yellow to move 2 yellows into his home. Or do we just keep building? You know what? I think we just keep building. Even though he can catastrophe, he could. I want to build 2 yellows. Because if he catastrophes, then I'm still up a large. I still have a large more than I had a moment ago. So he can choose to catastrophe either of these 2 systems. He can't build another yellow himself. I'll just catastrophe it. Kind of weird to use catastrophe as a transitive verb with a direct object. I'm going to catastrophe a ship. So out of this, so if I think of this from a moment ago, I will have traded a medium and a small for a large, and he will have lost at least a small ship compared to a moment ago. Because I gained 2 larges, and I'm going to lose a large, and I'm going to lose a medium and a small. He's going to lose probably this small. He'll probably catastrophe these guys. So I'm trading small and medium for a large, which is usually a good deal, especially in yellow, I think. He'll be down to 1 yellow ship, which is a challenging position. Okay. Yeah, that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. Does he somehow do something sneaky with reds? No, he's only got 2 red ships and they're together. That usually means you can't do something too sneaky. Okay, here's Bandito again. Darn, I was hoping that he would not play anything there because I could have closed that up. Unfortunate. Well, let's see. If I play that there, yeah, then if he doesn't do anything there, I can play this guy in there, which this is my least favorite card in Bandito. It's like it's always hard to play. All right, let's see. All right, it's not with Toda. This is whatever. Whatever's in the Discord server and has been playing a few games. We're in a couple of games together. And I think he's learning pretty good. Let's see. So he traded his G3 for R3. I think that's a good idea. Um, Often when your opponent eats up all of the small ships in a color, it's a freeze out. It's difficult to get ships in that color, but he has done, I think, the wise thing, which is to trade your large ship for that color. He doesn't have any mediums that he could trade, so his only option was a large. And in this case, because the color of interest is not yellow, usually here's why I don't like having a yellow star, because normally we'd have the same situation but with yellow instead of red, and I would move now my yellow one out to a colony, and if my opponent built, pretending this red is yellow, if he built another yellow here, then I'd be able to catastrophe his large and his star. But instead it's red, so he's going to be able to build another red ship and move that red ship to a colony safely, or even trade it for another color if he feels like it. Probably shouldn't do that. He should move it somewhere else so that he can build more red in the future. Before I can get a ship to his home for a catastrophe. So, excellent move. I will tell him as much. And since I think very highly of myself and I think I'm an expert, and that everybody needs praise from me, I try to sound all smart, like I know how to play this game. Okay, that looks pretty good. I want to keep pushing the reds because I've got an advantage there. Even though he'll start getting some red ships. But that's okay. I think I can beat him to the larges. Alright, let's see. So here, I'm trying to keep him frozen out of green. He's eating up the yellows and blues pretty fast. I think I'm just gonna... like that. So I can continue building greens. And then trade for the colors that he's frozen me out of. That feels pretty good. Probably yellow first. Well, I've already got a yellow. I'll build a little bit here and then trade for blue when I feel like it. That looks pretty good. It's been loading a little slower. I wonder if that's because I'm streaming video. A word of warning, I guess. My wife might come home at any moment. She was having a little meeting and probably did some shopping on the way home. But she might come in, and if she does, I might have to step away. I might have to end this abruptly. What's going on here? So I traded yellow for red. Okay, and... oh, interesting. I think I tend to not think of blue sacrifices as a thing that can happen, but sometimes it's the right thing. So he sacrificed his medium blue to trade his yellow at home for green and to trade a yellow in Samori for red. That's not half bad. It means he's out of blue. It's not crazy, and he's the only one with a green ship. If I get desperate for green at home, I'll trade my medium yellow for it. In the meantime, I'm going to push my blue advantage. Okay. Well, we might not get around to any live play today. Okay, here's Silo. I enjoyed this game too. This is another fairly relaxing game. So the objective here is to get all of your pieces in a... I'm black. And the objective is to get all of your pieces in a single consecutive pile. You can only move the top checker of your color one space on your turn. It carries with it any enemy pieces. And this is a very good position for me. I'll be winning before too long. Because he's got one of my pieces stuck amidst his pieces. And when I feel like starting to march this column over to the right to have it join these guys, he'll have tons of checkers on top that he'll be trying to evacuate, but there won't be time. So you know. All right, let's see. Bandito again. Oh no, he filled that space. Darn! I was hoping to put this here, and now, instead... Okay, well that's not great. All right, but if he doesn't take this spot here, I'll be able to use my U and close those off. This is not a Bandito stream. This is a Homeworld stream. Okay, well, more Bandito while we're waiting. I lost my viewer? No, I've still got my viewer. Yay! I haven't got too bored with this. This is loading really slow. Huh. Interesting. Maybe while we're waiting... Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Wow. Look at that. So the first two people to play had U pieces and closed off 4 of the exits immediately. All right, well, I don't have anything to close off that last one, but I can keep it to just 1 exit. Coming off. Bandito again? Really? I didn't think I was in that many Bandito games. While we're waiting there, let's see, somebody... Oh, that's me. That's me pretending to be wise. Okay, here's this game again. Aha! Aha! He closed off that end. Alright, I close off these two. And if he doesn't split this exit, I'll be able to finish it off. Okay, while we're waiting for that to load... Well, this is taking a while to load, too. Nobody should be getting the false impression that Board Game Arena loads terribly slowly. Not this slowly, anyway. I heard a chime. My turn somewhere. This is, my opponent made an unwise move. So he was in a blue freeze-out situation, and he moved his large ship to his colony here in Samori because he realized that if his only large ship was blue, and if he built another blue ship here in his home, I'd be able to catastrophe. I had a large yellow at the time. And so he, making a quite understandable mistake, moved his large ship here to his colony in Samori, where he thought, oh, well, I can build blue safely out here, because he was getting frozen out. But he didn't realize, I suppose, just how dangerous it is to take the only large ship out of your homeworld. And so I sacrificed my Y3 to move my G3 all the way over into his home, and now he's done for. I will take over all his ships. This is something I want to take out of the code at some point. There are no more things that I could target with red, and so it really shouldn't be warning me that I'm wasting actions. But it does. Okay. Ooh, do we win? Do we win? Yeah! I think that's it. Aha! Good work, everyone. Everyone who didn't quit. Somebody stepped away. All right. Oh, and so we didn't get points, because somebody left early. That's too bad. I'm a sucker for points. Well, we've got our real-time table open. As long as I'm sitting here waiting. Maybe I'll create another... Yeah, Tota's a good player and has been playing a lot. Am I connected to the internet? That is a good question. I hope so. Okay. Oops. No, no, no. One per day? One per day is a little slow even for me, I think. You know what? I have been playing... I've had so many games going. It's hard to keep them all straight. I'm making more mistakes. And I should be spending more time on other things, real-life things, probably. But, so one per day sounds like a pretty good pace right now. I think these notifications are just the game's ending. Yes. Okay. Well, this page is still trying to load. That's interesting. Yes, yes, yes. I don't feel like I need a pop-up for my own chats in all of my other windows. Maybe I'm the only person who uses Board Game Arena this way. I open lots of windows to bounce back and forth between games and tables. My games in progress page is being slow to load. I've got a lot of games there. That's probably part of why. All right. Well, nobody has shown up still. I'm going to go ahead and leave that open. And somewhere here, I have got a collection of games that I wanted to do a sort of review of at some point. I just heard a car door close. That might be my wife coming home. Well, I am impressed that my one viewer has stuck with me during all of this because it's not been as interesting as I hoped it would be. I think that watching people play live is really interesting and exciting. And that's what I would like my stream to usually be, is I get a live opponent and get to talk about my decision making in real time. All right, so here is a replay. I don't remember who wins this game. I looked at it at some point and thought that might be interesting. Okay, so this is Windrisen versus Cooper John. Cooper John is John Cooper. I invented Homeworlds, and Windrisen was one of the very first people to be a really strong Homeworlds player. Though I think he's taken a break and hasn't played so much lately. I think actually maybe this won't be... I don't know if this will be a good game to look over. I think they may have just been fiddling around. But, all right. John starts with green star, yellow ship banker, and Windrisen has a fortress. Build and build. John moves out early. So does Windrisen. John moves out to an aggressive colony. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. So, if Windrisen had done something else, if he had built another yellow ship, for example, then John could have moved in, because Windrisen would have had no red, so John could move in safely. And then John would be able to start building yellows in Windrisen's home, and while Windrisen could trade for red, after that, it's pretty annoying to have your opponent have ships that they're building in your home, even if you're able to capture them one at a time. Sometimes that turns into a catastrophe eventually. I think this may have set Windrisen back too much. That this is one less system where he can build yellow now, which is, I would expect is going to be the main color of contention here. John will probably continue to build yellows for a bit. But he cut John off at the pass. No, what did Andy call it? The elephant's foot when you move a ship into somebody's system and they don't have the ability to attack it. All right. John builds a little yellow out there. Windrisen starts building up the reds. John builds the first medium. Windrisen sticks with red. He's going to have to move one of these, trade one of these reds eventually if he's ever going to get anywhere. John sacrifices his medium too to move both little yellows. Oh, gee. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, so, yeah, I remember seeing this when I looked at this game earlier. This is a sign that they're kind of just goofing around. Windrisen is in danger of sort of being bluebirded after a fashion. He's got nothing but 3 reds in his home, and should have responded to the fact that John has the option to trade one of his little yellows for a red and catastrophe all of Windrisen's ships. And even if Windrisen were to trade one of these ships for another color, John could make that trade for a red. Oh no, and then he would just capture it. That's okay. Yeah, but he should have responded. Okay. But instead he built a medium out here. Okay, and John, in proving that they're not taking this too seriously, built a medium yellow here rather than winning the game. Or does he? No? Oh, okay, well, so he trades for the red, but doesn't actually trigger the catastrophe. So he could have won the game there, but they're fiddling around. Okay, so Windrisen trades for yellow. John, he could have captured one of these reds, but then they probably would have exchanged endlessly. And John, rather than trading for yellow, I think really should have built a yellow ship here. I think. Although if his red had been captured, no, that wouldn't really make a difference. I think he should have built a yellow. That would have been stronger, but... So maybe a fiddly around game wasn't the best thing to pick to review. And make sure that I take this off of my list of things to review because I'm reviewing it now. Is this the same game? Yes. Just a second. Okay. Checking it off the list. All right, so he trades his. This was a yellow a minute ago. Yeah. So he's worried about getting that catastrophe, which is a very reasonable concern. No, he changed his mind. He attacks one of the yellows. So John can and should build another yellow for the catastrophe. He does, and he commits it. Okay. I worry that they're going to take back. They're going to make the best move and then take it back. All right, so John has nothing but his original large. John is back to the Stone Age, as I like to say. But his opponent's got more ships. His opponent's got more ships, but he doesn't have any of them large. So John might still be in trouble. Okay, John builds a little yellow, as he must. Windrisen defends his home as best he can with his only medium ship. No, he thinks differently. Oh, he moves a small. Interesting. Right. John, like his third move of the game, the colony. And Windrisen spreads out his reds. He might be looking for a red. Oh, no. That's one trouble with these replays, is they've got these restarts in them, so I start commentating on something that they decide to undo. I think spreading out the reds would be very reasonable, because then he could work on building reds and try to get a red freeze out. But instead, he has built another medium ship, medium yellow. That's going to open up, that's going to leave yellow's open to John. John's got a slight advantage in yellow building, since he's got fewer of them. It'll be longer before he's in danger of catastrophe. So he spreads out. John builds large yellow, maybe? No, he does not. Interesting. So I think rather than... Does he stick with that? Yeah, okay, so John moves medium yellow here. That makes it so if Windrisen were to build a large yellow in Solaris, John could catastrophe by building a large yellow there himself. If he were to build a large yellow in Zoc, then John could catastrophe it with the small yellow in Reach. But if he were to build the large yellow in his home, then John doesn't have a way to catastrophe that. And so I don't think that really accomplished anything yet. Well, maybe it'll turn out later that it was a great move. We'll see. Okay. So now John's got two big yellows. Windrisen trades for green, maybe. Yes, he commits it. And John is fairly likely to build that yellow. He doesn't seem to want to get anything but yellow ships. Why would you want anything but yellow? That's what I'd like to know. Good question. So John did not find a way to capitalize on the fact that on the period of time when he had a large and his opponent did not. Windrisen got back up to a large again. Okay, so now he's spreading out his reds. John, no, he's going to sacrifice his large yellow for... He's going to move two yellows into Windrisen's home. So if Windrisen doesn't respond properly, John can build another yellow and catastrophe Windrisen's only large, which often I would say is a good thing, but I think Windrisen is going to be able to safely get a large again. Even after that, I think he'll get a large again in yellows before John can do anything about it, because Windrisen will still have so many yellows. He can just spread these out, start building yellows, and he'll probably get a large out of all that. Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I bet he does something else. Yeah, he does respond. He trades it for a red. And John, yeah, okay, so he left since the yellows were still open. He was able to build a large yellow, and Windrisen builds a large yellow. Okay, so John, boy, he really likes moving ships into his opponent's home and trying to trade or build his way into a catastrophe. It's very aggressive, but I feel like it's also expensive. He's lucky that he's been able to build large ships repeatedly. All right, so if Windrisen simply takes this large red, if he simply captures this small red, I mean, then John can trade this yellow for medium red and catastrophe all the reds here. But I think that might still be what he has to do. I don't know that he's got a better option. He could trade for blue, maybe? He could trade one of these away. He can't move it away without a sacrifice. Honestly, I think I would trade this little red for blue. Or yellow, for that matter. No, he captures it. No. Changes his mind. He does. He trades it for blue. No. Changes his mind. Trades the large for blue. I don't like that as well, because now John If he sticks with that, John can capture his little red, and he won't have any reds at home. Okay, he changes his mind again. Trades it for yellow. Sticks with it. Okay. Yeah, I think trading was the right call there. Let's see what John decides. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is a broken replay. Darn. I have not been able to figure out what's causing this. Occasionally, replays will break. What move number is this? This is number 100. And it seems to be on multiples of 25. I've seen them on 50, 75, and now 100. So, which makes me think that it might be Board Game Arena's fault somehow. It might not be a developer error on the side of developing the Homeworlds game. It might be Board Game Arena's problem. Yeah, alright, well, how much longer is this game? We can try to use our imagination for a few more moves. So, pretend that John has built another small red here, that Windrisen is in danger of having his only large ship catastrophed. He moves yellow to a new system, new large blue. Okay, John now is in danger of being bluebirded because all he's got is his two large yellows at home. Windrisen can sacrifice his large yellow to move both his yellows into John's home. So John should... I think he should trade... No, he shouldn't trade one of the larges because then Windrisen would build a large yellow, probably in Zoc. Well, he could do it. He could do it in his home too, because to catastrophe the yellows in Windrisen's home, John would have to sacrifice his large yellow to move his medium yellow there. That's very expensive. I think... So John definitely should not trade and put himself in that position. He should move one of these yellows out. Does he not see it? He was thinking about capturing that medium green. That's fatal if Windrisen takes advantage. No, he sticks with it. He sticks with it. Okay. So if Windrisen decides to, he will win now. He sees it. Okay, he's going to win. That's it. Catastrophe. And win. Okay. Oh, and at some point that little yellow, that little red showed up. Okay, let's... All right. As long as we're here. Oh, our viewer says, John's strategy is perfect for B plus G homeworlds, for blue-green homeworld stars, building and trading at his opponent's home as he wishes. Yeah, having a green star, one of the reasons I don't like to have a green star in my home is that it makes it easy for my opponent to build there. The other reason is that it makes it hard for me to get lots and lots of green ships. Let's see, if Windrisen had always had a red ship or red star at his home, then I don't think he would have had as much trouble as he did keeping John from building in his home. So my solution to that is have a red, and then it's okay to have a green star. Okay, so this is the point at which John built a small red, and it doesn't show up in the log. But at some point here, another small red appeared on the board. I thought, yeah, okay, it's because of the restart. So when somebody hits the restart button, what happens is it queries the server to do it. It turned out to be easier rather than just undoing the individual actions that took place. It queries the server for the entire state of the game, and it totally redraws the board. And so that appears to have been enough to have fixed that bug that we saw. Just a moment, I'm going to see if somebody joined my table. Nope. But it is my turn somewhere. All right, well, so that was the game. John got bluebirded in fine fashion, though he could have won the game earlier, and apparently they were just goofing around. So that's that. let's see. It is my turn. Somewhere. What's the fastest way to get to the place where it's my turn? Huh. There's a little triangle animation in the corner of the tab label, but none of the usual places. Interesting. Because I'm sitting at a real-time table waiting for somebody to join, it seems to be making it very difficult for me to get to my turn-based games where it's my turn. Okay, so this is the silo game I'm winning. So if I did nothing somehow for 3 moves, then my opponent would win by moving these 2 pieces onto his stack. But what's going to happen is, at a time of my choosing, I will move this piece on top of his piece sitting here, and then he's going to have to start moving all of his pieces one by one off of my piece here, and I will march my piece over to the right side and complete the stack. Okay, well, we never did get a real-time opponent. I'm a little disappointed. I think people are just playing a lot more in turn-based mode than in real-time mode. And that's okay. But it does make it harder to do the live streams of real-time play, which was my objective. I may have to start finding an opponent in the Discord channel or something. Bring my own opponent to do this. I used to do that when, like a year ago, I was oh, and Board Game Arena just gave up on me. It says, no, this has been open for too long. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. Give up. Lose hope. I was, boy, I would find a co-commentator and 2 people to play, and I would be trying to run a stream, and we'd be listening to the players talking to each other, and boy, I made a whole production, and I got burned out really quickly. It was very difficult to keep people organized and to do all this streaming stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. So I stopped doing that, but as a close approximation, I would like to do real-time games where it's just me talking about the real-time games. And I think Triple Shock is the other person who's got a YouTube channel for Homeworlds, and I think he is better at it than I am. And so if, hey Triple Shock, you should do real-time games too, because I think people would get a kick out of it. And, well, anyway, 1 viewer, thank you for sticking with me. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream there. Maybe next week we'll get a live opponent, and maybe I'll coordinate with them ahead of time rather than just hoping somebody wanders in. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Play lots of Homeworlds.